All right, as usual, we have a lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm going to get right into it. What do you get when you cross a vampire and a snowman? You do indeed get frostbite. Good job, Ben. This is kind of the segue from our Halloween to our winter. Winter lasts a lot longer than Halloween in the Northeast. So, if you're not native to here and you're on campus, get used to it, I guess. We are recording. Everything looks good. So we have, wow, that is washed out. Looks really good on my end. All right, so let's get started with today, a little bit of housekeeping. Exam 2 is largely graded. We have a few other complications that we're working on, but overall, Exam 2 is graded and will be released tonight. So you should be about ready for that. Let me just kind of, don't like the way that looks. It's still washed out. I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, so Exam 2 will be released tonight. You notice that Homework 7 came out a little bit late. We are giving you until the 19th to do it. It's a little bit longer of an assignment. It's not hugely longer. But we want to talk about that in the context of Homework 8 and some other stuff that's going on. Basically, we are not going to be giving you an Exam 3, at least not the sit down and take the exam kind of thing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Homework 8 to be your Exam 3. We'll count it as exam grades. Let's take a look at what we actually have here for you. So we've been looking ever since Exam 1. We've been trying to figure out how we want to handle grades for this semester. We told you all that you can drop Exam 1. We will drop it for you if it hurts your grade. And we've been kind of wrestling with how we want to go about doing this. These exams are taking us a long time to administer. We're going to try something a little bit different for this last exam. This is our new grade redistribution. This can be considered a modification to the syllabus. It's not a huge modification to the syllabus. Most everything stays the same. The things that have changed are down here in the tests. We're allowing you, it's still worth 30 points, but we're allowing you to drop that first test if it hurts you. You could still, so the question is, can you still come to office hours for Homework 8, even if it's a test? Yes, you can, but we may be limited on what we will allow our TAs and mentors to answer for you. We haven't actually worked out all the details of that yet. We've just kind of come to an agreement that we will, in fact, be doing it this way instead of the way we've been doing it. There we go. Let me bring up the lecture questions. All right. Still can't drop any homeworks. There are 13 labs. We still have 13 labs. They'll be worth 1 point apiece. We have 33 points in homeworks. That was distributed among 8 homeworks before. We are essentially dropping Homework 8 and replacing it with a take-home test. So that means we have 7 homeworks instead of 8 homeworks. We have to make that 7 homeworks add up to 33%. I'll show you how we're going to do that in a second. Tests remain the same at 30. What's changed is that we may be dropping a test if it hurts you on the front end, right? Exam 1. The tests have to add up to 30%. So, we will, if you drop Exam 1, they'll be worth 15% apiece. If you don't drop Exam 1, then we will still abide by our 6-12-12 rule. Your worst exam, which won't be Exam 1 at that point, counts for 6%, and the other 2 count for 12. And the final is still going to remain at 20, and as of right now, we haven't decided to change the format of the final. I expect we will revisit that after we see how this last homework thing goes. But you can expect that you will do a real final, something like we did for exam 2. And let's see what happened here. Finally, this is kind of how we're redistributing the homework. The homeworks that you already have in the bag, the ones you've already submitted, the ones you worked on, thinking they were worth 4 1/8 points each, are still worth 4 1/8 points each. This last homework is going to be worth 2 normal homeworks. It'll be worth 8.25 points. So, please get an early start on it. Please submit it at least once before Friday, so that we can, before the Thursday it's due, so that you can shake out any issues like having the wrong file name, etc. Get started, get things working. And then again, homework 8, we're going to revamp homework 8 a little bit, and it will be essentially a take-home exam. You'll have about 2 weeks to work on it, roughly. We are not going to do an exam timing. We will continue to run the software similarity checker on it. There is style. We just didn't put it in there. It will be worth, each part will be worth 50 points apiece. 40 of those will be auto-graded. 10 of those will be graded for style and other issues. All right, so that's kind of where we are. I think that's the end of what we need to talk about with regards to our reconfiguration. And why is this not giving me back what I want it to come back? There we go. I do want to come out and give you some stats on the exam, because that seems like the appropriate thing to do. I think I have that here. So this is what Submittee has for us. There were 593 of you actually graded so far, or submitted so far. I don't know where the other 29 are, but I expect that there's been some drops, some attrition. But we have almost all of the grading done, 99.8%. We found a couple of people who weren't in a rotating section, which means that they weren't actually assigned to a grader. We are now working on getting those graded as well. And we are also grading the makeup tests. So you makeup people will probably get your exams at the same point as everybody else. Your answer key, you'll have to talk to us during office hours, or talk to Cheyenne Hulbert to actually see the answer key, because we are holding that back for right now in case we need it again. But we will post the answer key, and we will release your grades and start up the grade inquiry process this evening. Average on the exam was about 62%, which is a little low, not horribly low. But it is low enough that we will be doing a relatively substantial curve. We will try to bring that up into the 73, 74 range, 72, somewhere in that. We'll kind of look at the stats and see where we want that to fall. But we will be bringing that up. There will be a curve on this exam. I don't know. Those aren't all that interesting. If you want to look at the overall histogram, this is kind of interesting. The mean was 62. The median was 64. So they're down in this range, the mean and the median. We had hundreds. And our mode, our most frequently occurring value, is in this 90 to 100 block. And it doesn't change as we kind of make this bucket smaller and smaller. Most of you, the bulk of you, ended up staying in that that's whatever we have at the top end became our mode, essentially. So a lot of some of you did really good, or the mode of you did very good, and the rest of you did okay. So we will again be curving that a little bit. At the high end, you shouldn't expect much of a curve. At the low end, we will curve you more. I generally do a linear curve. So linear curve pegged at somewhere around 95 to 98. So 95 to 98 don't get any bump. Other people do. Anyway, that's generally what we do. That's what you can expect. That's kind of how our data looked. Do we have any questions?
I just have a quick question on so the curve, is it like going to be something like you just add 5 or you just add 6, or is it going to be something like complex, like 10 root x, which means like if you get a 64, you would curve to an 80, and if you were to get what's another perfect square? If you were to get an 81, you would curve to a 90, and hundreds don't change because 10 times root 100 is 100.
Yeah, I generally do a linear curve. So I pick 2 points. I'll pick right around the midpoint, either the mode or the median. And I will curve that to the grade that I want it to be at, and then I'll pick an upper bound that I don't curve at all, and I'll just draw a point. I'll draw a line through those points. So our goal is to give people at the lowest end an opportunity to pass the course. So we do over a curve at the lower end.
And then it's not going to be in such a way where like someone who gets a 92, if you were to add like 5 to their point, it would make them a 97. And then you don't want to give, if you were not to give 95% people like a curve, they would stay at a 95. It's not going to make like people who got lower, like a higher.
No one will be jumped.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's kind of where we sit right now. Let me check to make sure that we have Kristen back. She had a test last time, so she couldn't be with us, but she is there. Good. All right, so that's what we had for today. Let's kind of leave this behind. Hopefully we will be able to get through these more quickly in the future, but we are having elements of scale on pretty much everything we do right now. All right, where am I? I can put this away. You guys couldn't see me do that anyway. Let's see, I'll leave that up for now. Let's go to Lecture 18.